Ah, the grandeur of the Victorian city.
What grandeur? All I've seen so far is just slums and filthy conditions.
The evidence examined so far has supported a negative interpretation of city life. You could select the experiences of the rich or middle class. If you had the money for a horse-drawn carriage, you could live in the more comfortable suburbs. Or select a more upbeat interpretation of life in the back streets.
Okay.
Life in the street was interesting. We had a pale, stuttering boy who walked muffins from door to door, whilst on wintry nights the hot pea man came along, ringing his bell, inviting custom for his green, mushy peas, giving off a savoury smell on the chilly air.
What else was good about a city for someone like her? Where is she from?
Bolton, a very fine town specializing in very fine cotton.
Population, 1850, 60,000. 1870, 104,000. 1890, 149,000.
And growing fast. Half of Bolton's workforce were in the factories, many more in engineering workshops, coal mines, bleaching crafts, forges and foundries.
Move to ground.
Ground probe selected.
The Town Hall, 1873, built in the classical style with sculptures by Calder Marshall. Excuse me.
I want to look round. This is no good. It's all modern.
Look up. The original Victorian building.
So what shops would there have been?
Select an old trade directory. They list what every building was used for.
Mrs. Haddock, milliner. The Mexican Cheroot and Cigar Company. Miss E.J. Evans, flower dealer. Richard Day, hairdresser. S. Cheetham and Son, hosiers and hatters. The Bolton Junior Burns Club. Tate and Son.
This looks old.
Archive match.
Plenty of Victorian Bolton survives. Old Hall Street.
Archive match.
The town hall in the distance. Whitaker's department store on the corner there. Knowsley Street.
Archive match.
Victoria Hall, still used for Methodist services. And the 1855 Market Hall.
Select Market Hall.
Remember, this was before refrigeration. People had to shop every day. Halls like this replaced traditional open-air markets.
Would Alice Foley have shopped here?
Almost certainly, but it wasn't the only place available.
It was the heyday of the corner shop. Mother went to a higgledy-piggledy place kept by a friend of hers named Kitty. Neither Mother nor Kitty could read or write, but they had their own symbols for reckoning up the score, which was later chalked on the door. As a small girl, I usually perched on a sack of taters, half absorbing gossip about bad husbands and hard times.
There were 200 butchers, 170 confectioners, 127 fruiterers and greengrocers, 60 newsagents, 60 bakers, 30 tripe dealers, 313 pubs, 60 primary schools.
I'll take pubs.
The pubs hardly ever closed. They offered interest and action, noise and warmth. There was music and singing, gambling and games.
Sounds like fun.
Many Victorians blamed the pubs for ruined families, neglected wives, hungry children and debts.
When Father was recovering from a boozing bout, his temper was most vicious and unpredictable. I recall him following Mother out kitchen, whining monotonously. "Lend us a penny, Meg. Gi' us a penny, I'm choking." At length, in a fit of desperation, a penny would be flung onto the table, then Mother would snatch up her shawl, vanish into the street, and seek temporary refuge in a neighbour's home.
There were 78 milliners, 101 boot and shoe dealers, 85 cloggers, 35 pawnbrokers.
Pawnbrokers? What's that?
I don't know what we'd have done without 'em. Every week, it seemed, we'd nip in smartly at the side door of the Golden Balls to trade in our Sunday best for a little cash. Then, come payday, in again to buy 'em back. The pawn shop was owned by a big jovial man named Bill. He made my mother laugh with his jokes and ready gossip. He was always perched on a high stool behind a long wire-netted counter. As my mother was a regular customer, he never opened her parcel, but placed it in a cubicle above his head, then slipped some silver coins to my mother under the grill.
Why does he seem so cheerful? It must have been terrible to have to sell your clothes.
In the rows of terraced houses, fun started outside your own front door. There were peddlers, singers, rag and bone men with their handcarts festooned with strings of bright balloons. And there was more. Cycling, brass bands, pigeon fanciers, canary breeders, whippet racing, cricket, football.
I'll take football.
Bolton Olympic were the first working-class team to win the FA Cup when they beat the Old Etonians. They went on to help found the Professional Football League in 1889.
I bet they didn't have any crowd trouble in those days.
Incorrect. If there was a bad result, the pitch would be bombarded with sticks and orange peel. Officials and players were assaulted as they left the field.
After the affair was over, I was attacked by a mob of infuriated beings in petticoats, supposed to be women, who were, without doubt in some cases, mothers, if I may judge from the innocent-looking babes suckling at their breasts. They brandished their umbrellas and shook their fists in my face.
Loop ended.
What now?
City Life. Change vector. Awaiting selection.
The Victorian city gave people a freedom of choice they'd never had before. More jobs, a greater variety of food available, more time for leisure,
Select.
theaters and music halls.
Give me a text then.
Ma was positively overcome by the comedy and laughed till every one of the immense bows on her ample cap trembled. The governess put a handkerchief to her mouth and merely pretended to laugh.
I'll have a reconstruction.
There was a young fella from Leeds who swallowed a packet of seeds. They started to sprout through his nose and his mouth. Now his face is covered in weeds.
What's this then?
Crossness Pumping Station, London.
Sewers were laid for decent drainage. Public baths were built. These were for relaxation, but for hygiene too.
That one.
They weren't just interested in clean and healthy bodies, but healthy minds. They built art galleries, schools, universities, libraries. Like this one. Notice the Gothic style of architecture the Victorians liked so much.
It's like a cathedral.
Talking of which, don't forget all the churches they built. Churches provided a real focus for many people, not just in terms of Christian faith, but for social reasons too. There were church teas, clubs, outings, singing in the choir.
Where's this?
Manchester Town Hall.
Amazing.
The local councillors, the city fathers, wanted to celebrate Manchester's industrial success to show off its prosperity.
It's fantastic.
Caution.
This is one side of city life. Remember the slums? That was the flip side. So what were these new industrial cities like?
All systems disengaging.